One thing I'd like to do more of in the future is to correlate and contrast Jungian psychology with witchcraft and love spells and Jezebels and all of that, because I think that there's just too much that is possible that has not been discovered on this frontier that I really look forward to delving more into. And something that I wanted to talk about today is how your energy when you're celibate is going to feel supernatural to these people that are possessed by demonic entities or by these Jezebel like spirits or any kind of witches around you as well. They're going to know that something is different about you, but they don't always know what it is, and it's not always conscious. They just can feel drawn to you in certain ways. And especially if you're aware of the nuances and the depths of the spiritual warfare that is going on, then there's going to be this interesting perception of time and of your own, what I call PIMS, your portrayal in mind, where you are simply different, and other people are trying to come to terms with that, but they don't know exactly how. And they don't exactly know how to act or how to respond. They don't know exactly what to do or how to do it or why to do what they do. They just want to know you. They don't always want to know who you are, though. They just want to know your energy. And your energy is going to feel very, I suppose you could say, not only supernatural, but it's almost serendipitous to some degree, because when you're around a free soul, okay, you feel better. You just feel better, and you'll know it. You'll know it for sure, because if you are yourself a free soul, you're going to know when you're around another free soul. It just is what it is. And then there are some people who, they're not, maybe not completely healed, but they are saved. And I think that there's a difference between being completely healed and saved by Christ. I think that there's a difference. And I think that you're free in both of those instances to some degree, because if you're saved by Christ, then you're almost, actually not even almost, by definition, you are free. However, I think the level and the degree in which you're free is going to be determined by your kind of behavior and proclivity that you have towards certain modes of being. And so are you operating under the presupposition that you are living in accordance to what is true, that you are living in accordance to what God wants for you? Or are you trying to cultivate and inflate artificially your sense of who you are and why you are and what you are? Because if you're trying to do that, if you're aiming to do that, it's going to be very difficult for you to actually come to terms with reality and be saved, I would say, to the degree in which, yes, you are now fully healed, because as Jesus Christ says, we're supposed to be our own physician. And so I want to be careful with the semantics here, because I know that there can be some misunderstandings on what I'm saying, but I've also come acutely aware that the reason for my misunderstandings from others, people misunderstand me because I'm a bit edgy and I have an edge to myself. I'm not really quid pro quo pro or whatever. I'm not really the standard. And I understand that, and I understand that there are going to be times and situations and people and places and things that are not going to be able to understand me, and it's not my job to make them understand me. And this is another reason why your energy is going to feel supernatural, is because it's almost mythic to some degree. I mean, I've been told in the past that I'm a local legend. Okay, I had no idea. I had no idea. And apparently, like, I'm just the quiet guy that works hard and knows how to get stuff done. That's who people perceive me as in certain places in my physical community that I don't really talk to or know, and I don't really speak much in my physical community unless I like the person and I'm communicating with them for just a sense of professionalism, or because of happenstance, or business wise. Like, there really is no other option. I'm not friendly to people just to be friendly all the time. I just don't really care for that kind of behavior. That's just me personally. I'm not saying you have to be like that or you should be like that. I'm just saying that me, myself, I don't really care to talk too much. But I've noticed that, following the 48 laws of power to some degree, and I'm not doing it always consciously, nor am I really doing it unconsciously. It's just a kind of a happening and a happenstance. I'm just being authentic in myself, and I'm just so happening to following the 48 laws of power. And one of those is speak less than necessary. I had a situation yesterday with a woman where I was just being myself, and I realized in retrospect in my meditation this morning upon the reflection of that experience was that, oh, I said less than necessary. And that's why, like, it made sense of to why she was behaving the way that she was and why she was trying to get me to talk more. And I was just being very straightforward and very direct, and I wasn't being rude or anything. I was just very concrete and to the point and very plain. But also my words, I could see how in retrospect also that the words that I used could be interpreted in different ways. And that happens very much so in the physical community that I have and in the physical world. It happens sometimes on the online, of course, and I'm definitely engaged and active and present online, but and when I'm communicating with people, through the one-on-one group call, or through the one-on-one calls or the group calls that we have, like, I'm very present, of course, but there's something numinous that happens when you are in the physical presence with someone, because your nervous system will either reject them or accept them to some degree. I'm sure you guys have experienced something like this. If you're actually celibate and you've been celibate for a while, you can almost feel when someone is degenerate and doesn't keep themselves pure in different ways. Like, you can just feel that. You don't really know why. You can't really explain it. You just know that there's something off with that person. Like, they've been busy, and not in the best of ways. They've been very, very busy. And you can just get this sense. You can just feel this sense of lack of calmness in their nervous system because they're so chaotic. I mean, have you ever been around somebody where there's really no beginning and then there's no end with this person? And it's the worst kind of like head spin, because you have no clue where or what they're talking about or who they are with, or who, like, what are you saying? What are you talking about here? There's no clear rhyme or reason to how they behave. I've had, bosses in the past where it's been like that. And it's just unbelievable to see that they are really just, they should not be leaders. Some of these people just should not be leaders. And of course, we live in a day and age of society where the righteous are punished for their virtues. And I have said this before, how sometimes I get the feeling and the sense that I am consistently feeling like I'm outside of the zoo that is the society that we now live in. I'm outside of the zoo, and I'm now on the inside looking out rather than the outside looking in. And I can see the people in the zoo, and they think that they're lions, but they're in a cage, and they think that they're in the jungle. and yet they're in a cage, and yet they're happy that they're in the cage. They're happy that they get their food right from, you know, the thing that just drops in the meat, the fresh meat every day, whatever. Like they just are happy about this. And I genuinely think that comfort has been a slow, painful killer of our society. I think that comfort has completely disrupted us. I mean, think about sex, for example, right? People are so comfortable with sexual relationships. It's really crazy to me. And even now I will be frank, of course. I had a couple of one night stands, you might say, years and years ago. And I only had a couple because I knew after the second or third, no, it was the second one. It was the second one because I only had 3 one night stands. And it was the second one that I was like, I don't know if this is right because I'm feeling worse. And then by the third one, I was like, okay, no, I'm never doing that again. I didn't even go all the way with that person with the third one because I could feel my soul being withered away during the act. And I told her to stop. I was like, no, we have to stop. I wanted it. Of course I wanted it, but I told her, no, we had to stop. We have to stop. And she thought that I was like, that's a whole other story, but she thought that I was like wanting to wait with her and wanting to have, this relationship with her. And I was thinking to myself at the time, I was like, what the, you like wanted this, like you think that now that I'm wanting to wait, I see you as, it's not that I see you as girlfriend material, it's that I see myself as more respectful and more respectable than just treating myself as a casual sex toy. Like that's what it is. Like you're basically treating yourself as a sex toy when it comes to one night stands. And I've been celibate now. I've been on semen retention since May of 2022, but I've been celibate for nearly 5 years. Yeah, nearly so. And I'll say that semen retention and celibacy, I would say, are different because you can be celibate and yet you can still, be wanking yourself. And I guess it depends on the semantics as well. I was going to say semantics, semen antics. But it depends on the semantics because semen retention, you can also have sex and be on semen retention if you're not releasing. But I don't think this is where these terms, people get so caught up with the terms. And being frank, I would just say that being celibate in of itself, if I had to put my own semantics on it, it's that you're not doing anything. You're not playing with yourself. You're not watching porn. You're not doing any weird stuff. You're not being a degenerate. You're not having whatever. You're just being, and you're just being. And for some reason, this woman, she felt as though I was seeing her as a girlfriend material, and I thought to myself, hell no. Hell no, man. No, this is not going to happen. And that was, man, I really feel bad rejecting women like that. And I just kind of, I didn't say it like that when I told her. I just told her I didn't really want to see her again. And she asked me why, and I said, I just don't think, we're going to make it, and I didn't really know how to phrase it at the time because I wasn't following Christ yet. I just knew that something was wrong, but I didn't know what it was. And I started to follow Christ 4 years ago, almost to the day now. And ever since then, I had to really reshift everything of how I view life and how I view, not even I didn't have to, I got to. Like I had the great fortune of being saved, as retarded as I am, as sinful as I was, because the truth is that thank God life is not fair, because if life were fair, things would have worked out a lot different for me, because I've definitely had my fair share of mistakes. I've definitely had my fair share of doing things that not for the best. And I've also had my fair share of people persecuting me for righteousness' sake. But overall, I would still choose Jesus, and I know that Jesus would still choose me because I feel free. I feel, and it's not because I want to feel this way, it's that I just am. And being free and just am free, there's this natural byproduct of, there's a sense of relief there. And I think what it is that people can sense this relief around you because you know that you are capable of wretchedness just as much as anybody else. And that, of course, there are going to be times when people try to annoy you and people try to upset you. Like, there's women at the gym, literally, I swear, and not even just at the gym, but out and about. Like, it's crazy how sometimes these women just cannot take the possibility that they're not desirable. It's like they can't handle the fact that somebody doesn't want them. And a lot of these women will only want you just so that they can reject you, so that they can feel better about themselves. And sometimes as a man, you want to just let those situations happen. This is where the witchcraft comes into play. These are witches, man. Like, this kind of manipulation, all forms of manipulation and gaslighting is witchcraft, by the way. I don't know who needs to hear that, but somebody needs to hear that. All forms of witchcraft are gaslighting, lying, manipulating, like that in of itself, because you're trying to bend the fabric of reality without having it smack you back in the face. And good luck with that, because there are spiritual laws that are in place that you can't do that. Like, you can't do that. You just cannot. So even the devil knows that he has to tell you what he's going to do to you before he lies to you. He's just going to manipulate you a little bit. Like, that's what's so cunning about some of these women too, is they're so sneaky, man. They're so sneaky. And they're so good at playing on people's empathy for them and making them seem like the victim. It's so crazy how they have all the victimhood and the power and no responsibility, and hardly anybody sees this. It's crazy. And you have to, like, suck up to the women now. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to be in this world as a man. It's crazy. It's like, no, screw that. And then women wonder why. They wonder why men are opting out. They wonder why men are walking away. And it's like, why do you think? It's crazy, man. I don't really know what else to say at this point, because women who don't get it, I don't think they're going to get it, man. I don't think so. Jesus can change anybody's hearts. I know that for sure. But holy moly. If people have not woken up by now and they're like over the age of 25, the probability is super low. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying the probability is very, very low. So we just have to stay true to ourselves and let these people do whatever kind of degenerate crap they're going to do. And you know what's crazy? I just thought about this too. You know how being celibate makes you sexy and irresistible to people that are not celibate, but you know who and what it does to people who actually do practice celibacy? It makes them see you for who you are. And there's a greater sense of respect and intimacy that comes with that. It's not just lustful desire and pleasure. It's actual realness. And I think that in the end is going to be more valuable anyway. So with all that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful for you. I hope everybody stays blessed. Join the Regal Change Academy for free. Okay, we're not going to accept anybody and everybody. Okay, you have to meet certain criteria in order to go into that for free. But if you enroll and you're in the academy, there is going to be another paywall between you and the people that are already paying for the group calls and the classes and all the things like that. So we're just realizing that, well, I'm realizing that I have to be a little bit more, I would say, not cautious, but I have to vet these people a little bit more thoroughly, because there's some trolls that still want to join for free, man. Like, people, this is one of the reasons why I got rid of the free academy like a year and a half ago, and I just opened it up for the free tier again, because I wanted to see like if there were more people. And I'm just going to be more careful about it now. I'm going to be more careful, and because I want this to be a community where people actually want to be. Okay, I don't care if you want to just sit on the sidelines, that's cool. But if you want to just be a tourist, okay, that's cool, but that's not the community for you. Okay? So we want people that are actually wanting to talk about deep things, and not just, celibacy or semen retention or anything like that, but just a variety of deep spiritual topics. And, wanting to be healthy and holistic in all these forms and fashions. And, you know, we are entering a new phase for the community, and I'm really excited for it. And I'll be announcing more about it in the upcoming week. But until that point, sign up for a one-on-one mentorship call with me as well, or the Godlike Mastery Initiation Program, where I'm helping the depleted coomers not be depleted coomers, and the entitled women not be entitled women. The depleted coomers, that are the men, will become more godlike and righteous, and the women that are entitled will become more like wives. That's my aim here. So with all that being said, peace. Until next time.